We come to this familiar story, if you grew up in the church, of the wise men, the Magi, coming from the east and following a star, hoping to find the birth of the new king of the Jews. There are tons of legends and histories written about these men that we really don't know anything about, other than there was at least more than one of them, and they came from somewhere in the east, and they end up in Herod's palace. The question that they ask is, where is the newborn king of the Jews that we have come to pay homage to? And Herod, of course, gets upset. We talked about this a little bit last week, that Herod, the current king of the Jews, does not like the idea that there is a new king of the Jews. But let's not get too much into Herod. Let's look at these Magi. They come and they look for a newborn king of the Jews. They come from outside of the area that the people of God were currently living in. These are not Jewish men. These are people from outside of the faith who are coming to find the newborn baby king and bring him gifts and pay him homage. What this means is that we have our first hints possibly of the idea that this Jesus person, this whole incarnation of God into a baby, is for everyone and not just for Israel. We have people from outside the faith who recognize that God is moving in the world. How did they even know who the Jews are? How did they know who God is? How did they know how to find a newborn baby king of the Jews? Questions that aren't really answered, but what we do know is that these are people who are from the outside, who are being grafted into the life of the people of God. Paul would take this a little bit further and say that all people, all Gentiles, all non-Jewish people can find hope and peace and salvation through Christ. The story of the Magi is a reminder and a pointing towards the fact that the people of God are now everyone on earth and not just a select few people. It's a story of how the people of God expanded throughout the entire world without changing into a Jewish faith, but instead being grafted into the family of God through Jesus Christ. What does it mean for us now who bear the name of Christ, who many of us do not come from Jewish families? Where do we find ourselves in the story of the Magi? The answer is that we find ourselves as these wise people who came and sought out Christ for ourselves, who then leave and go and tell the whole world about the people of God, about God coming in the form of Christ. The story of the Magi is the story of us who come and learn about God, whether we are brought by our families or by something that is pulling us towards God in a way that we don't understand. Much like a star would appear in the sky and say to these people, hey, come follow me. Look at this. There's something amazing happening here. God is the God of the outsiders. Not only is God the God of the people who believe in God. This means that God is for everyone and not just those who call themselves Christians. It means that we can also find wisdom in perhaps other faiths throughout the world. Now, I'm not saying that all religions will lead to salvation in the way that we understand it as Christians, but I am saying that God uses people outside of the Christian faith to show us more and more about God. What does it mean that God is the God of the outsider? It means that God is the God of us, because we were once outsiders, and many of us still find ourselves to be outsiders in different ways of the world. But God is our God too. We can follow God, whether it's a star in the sky, whether it's grace that leads us there, or whatever other labels that we put on it. That God has come for me, God has come for you, that God has come for everyone that's around us in this great reversal of the way that the order of the world is put into place. God is for you because God is for the outsider. God is for you because God is for the lowest of the low. What happens when we take care of the lowest of the low? What it means is that we are taking care of everybody. Because what it means is that if we ever find ourselves as the lowest of the low, that we are cared for as well. God of the outsider is kind of a misnomer because none of us are outsiders when it comes to God. Through Christ, God has brought us all into God's story.